Sir Charles Spencer Chaplin was a British comic actor, filmmaker, and composer who became a worldwide icon through his screen persona, the Tramp, and is considered one of the film industry's most important figures. His career spanned more than 75 years, from childhood in the Victorian era until a year before he died in 1977, and included both admiration and disagreement. He was born in London, England, on April 16, 1889. People all around the world consider him the greatest comic artist ever to grace the screen, and his impact on the history of movies is enormous. Charlie's life was a masterpiece of humor and innovation. From his birthplace in London to his final days in Coursier-sur-Vevey, Switzerland, Charlie Chaplin's story takes us on a journey through laughter, creativity, and the magic of the silver screen. Charlie Chaplin's childhood was filled with both hardship and the early signs of his future stardom. Named after his father, a British music hall entertainer, he spent his early years with his mother, Hannah Hall, a singer, after his parents separated. However, his mother's mental instability led to her confinement in an asylum, and Charlie, along with his half-brother Sidney, endured a challenging time in workhouses and residential schools. Despite the difficulties, Charlie's talent and determination shone through. In 1897, using his mother's connections in show business, he became a professional entertainer by joining the 8 Lancashire Lads, a clog dancing act. This was the beginning of his remarkable journey in the world of entertainment. He went on to secure various stage roles, including a small part in William Gillette's Sherlock Holmes in 1899, and a stint with the vaudeville act Casey's Court Circus. In 1908, he joined the Fred Karno pantomime troupe, where he quickly rose to stardom as the drunk in the ensemble sketch A Night in an English Music Hall. Chaplin's early experiences and the resilience he showed during his difficult childhood laid the foundation for his future success as a legendary figure in the world of entertainment. Charlie Chaplin's journey to becoming one of the most iconic figures in the world of entertainment began when he was touring America with the Karno Company in 1913. During this time, he was signed to appear in Mack Sennett's Keystone comedy films. Although his first Keystone one-reeler, Making a Living in 1914, was not a failure, Chaplin's initial screen character, a mercenary dandy, did not show him to his best advantage. Sennett ordered Chaplin to come up with a more workable screen image. Chaplin improvised an outfit consisting of a too small coat, 2 large pants, floppy shoes, and a battered derby. As a finishing touch, he pasted on a postage stamp mustache and adopted a cane as an all-purpose prop. It was in his second Keystone film, Kid Auto Races at Venice in 1914, that Chaplin's immortal screen alter ego, the Little Tramp, was born. Chaplin's Keystone films were different from the gentle, sophisticated comedy that would be the hallmark of his later work. However, Chaplin injected into the Keystone comedies an acute understanding of character and movement that he, and a style of comedy that was polished yet appeared spontaneous at the same time. Within weeks of the Tramp's first appearance, the public had embraced him. Orders for the Chaplin Keystone films grew tremendously. It would only take a few months for Chaplin to be recognized as the most popular comedian in motion pictures. After completing over 35 films for Keystone of various lengths, split reels, one-reelers, and two-reelers, plus the feature film Tilly's Punctured Romance, Chaplin emerged triumphant from his first. Chaplin refined Keystone slapstick and film comedy in general by slowing down the frantic pace of giving them a rudimentary structure and establishing a strong character, which he accomplished by drawing on his knowledge of stagecraft and pantomime. At Keystone, he developed film techniques and comic pacing for motion pictures that he would employ in his later, more sophisticated work. Chaplin's early films for Keystone, Essanay, and Mutual Studios are characterized by slapstick combined with funny and sad moments about the Tramp's struggles against difficulties. Many contain social and political themes as well as autobiographical elements. Charlie Chaplin, the legendary actor, did not always portray a tramp in his films. In many of his movies, his character took on various roles such as a waiter, store clerk, stagehand, or fireman. However, his character could be best described as the ultimate outsider, rejected by polite society, unlucky in love, a jack of all trades but master of none. He was a survivor, always leaving past sorrows behind and cheerfully embarking on new adventures. The appeal of the Tramp, Chaplin's iconic character, was universal. Audiences loved his cheekiness, his ability to bring down arrogance, his casual savagery, his surprising acts of bravery, and his ability to stay strong when facing tough times. Some historians have linked the origins of the Tramp to Chaplin's difficult childhood, while others have suggested that the character was influenced by the motto of Chaplin's mentor, Fred Karno, "Keep it wistful, gentlemen, keep it wistful." Regardless of its origins, within months of his movie debut, Chaplin became the biggest star on the screen. Charlie Chaplin's 35 Keystone comedies can be seen as the Tramp's gestation period, during which a caricature evolved into a character. The films improved steadily once Chaplin became his own director. In 1915, he left Senate to accept a $1,250 weekly contract at Essanay Studios. It was there that he began to inject elements of pathos into his comedy, notably in such shorts as The Tramp and Burlesque on Carmen in 1915. He moved on to an even more lucrative job for a $670,000 per year at the Mutual Company Film Corporation. During an 18-month period, he made the 12 two-reelers that many regards as his finest films, including 1 AM, The Rink, The Vagabond, which were staged in 1916, and Easy Street in 1917. In 1917, Chaplin found himself attacked for the first time by the press, who criticized him for not enlisting to fight in World War I. To aid the war effort, Chaplin raised funds for the troops. In 1918, Charlie Chaplin moved studios again, accepting a $1 million offer from the First National Film Corporation for 8 shorts. That same year, he married 16-year-old film actress Mildred Harris, the first of his many child brides. For his new studio, he made shorts such as Shoulder Arms in 1918 and The Pilgrim in 1923, and his first starring feature, The Kid, in 1921, which starred the irresistible Jackie Coogan as the kid being friended and aided by the little tramp. Some have suggested that the increased dramatic content of those films is symptomatic of Chaplin's efforts to justify the praise lavished upon him by critics. A hard-working perfectionist, he began spending more and more time on the preparation and production of each film. In his personal life too, Chaplin was exceptional. Having divorced Mildred in 1921, Chaplin married 16-year-old Lilita McMurray in 1924, who would soon become known to the world as film star Lita Grey. They got divorced in 1927 with a lot of noise. Chaplin wrote, directed, produced, edited, starred in, and composed the music for most of his films. He was a perfectionist, and his financial independence enabled him to spend years on the development and production of each film. Chaplin's unique and expressive style, untouched by editors, ranges from simple everyday language to vivid images and detailed descriptions reminiscent of Dickens. From 1923 through 1929, Charlie Chaplin made only 3 features: A Woman of Paris in 1923, which he directed but did not star in, and it was his only drama; The Gold Rush in 1925, widely regarded as his masterpiece; and The Circus in 1928, an underrated film that may rank as his funniest. All 3 were released by the United Artists Company. The company co-founded in 1919 by Chaplin, husband and wife superstars Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford, and director D.W. Griffith. Of the 3 films, The Gold Rush is one of the most memorable films of the silent era. Chaplin placed the little tramp in the epic setting of the Yukon, bears, snowstorms, and a fearsome prospector named Mac Swain. His love interest was a beautiful dance hall queen named Georgia Hale. The scene in which the tramp must eat his shoe to stay alive perfectly captures the movie's heart-touching feelings. Charlie Chaplin, the master of pantomime, had perfected the art of silent films. The arrival of sound in movies caused him concern, and after much hesitation, he released his 1931 feature City Lights as a silent film, despite the commonness of talkies after 1929. It was a sweet, unabashedly sentimental story in which the little tramp falls in love with a blind flower girl, Virginia Cheryl, and he vows to restore her sight. The musical score, the lone sound element the film offered, was composed by Chaplin, and he conducted its recording. No matter the lack of dialogue, it was a huge success. City Lights is one of the most cherished films by Charlie Chaplin and is also his ultimate Little Tramp chronicle. The writer-director-star achieved new levels of grace in both physical comedy and dramatic tragedy, with this silent tale of a lovable tramp falling for a young blind woman who sells flowers on the street. Though this Depression-era smash was made after the advent of sound, Chaplin remained steadfast in his love for the expressive beauty of the pre-talkie form. The result was the epitome of his art and the crowning achievement of silent comedy. In 1932, Charlie Chaplin began a relationship with young starlet Paulette Goddard. His next film, Modern Times, in 1936, was a hybrid, essentially a silent film with music, sound effects, and brief passages of dialogue. Chaplin also gave his little tramp a voice, as he performed a nonsense song. The film marked a transition in Chaplin's career, as he incorporated some sound elements while still maintaining his unique style. The story followed Chaplin as a nameless factory worker who has been dehumanized by the mindless task he has to perform, tightening bolts on parts that fly by on an assembly line, and Goddard played a gamine, the wife who comes under his wing. It was the last silent feature to come out of Hollywood, but audiences still turned out to see it. Most significantly, it was the little tramp's final performance. The Great Dictator, which was released in 1940, was Charlie Chaplin's most overt political satire and his first sound picture. In the film, Chaplin starred in a dual role as a nameless Jewish barber and as Adenoid Hinkle, dictator of Tumania, a dead-on parody of the German dictator Adolf Hitler, to whom Chaplin bore a remarkable physical similarity. Paulette Goddard played Hannah, the barber's Jewish friend who flees Tumania after the barber is arrested and sent to a concentration camp, and Jack Oakey gave a hilarious parody of Italian dictator Benito Mussolini as Napoloni, dictator of Bacteria. The movie was different from Chaplin's usual poetic style because its mocking tone was too bitter and angry to allow for much gentle comedy. The Great Dictator was a commercial success and received Chaplin's only Academy Award nomination as the Best Actor. The Great Dictator is a controversial masterpiece in which Charlie Chaplin offers both a savage parody of Adolf Hitler and a subtle adjustment of his own comic persona. In his first pure talkie, Chaplin brings his sublime physicality to two roles: the cruel yet clownish Tumanian dictator and the kindly Jewish barber who is mistaken for him. The film is a daring combination of politics and slapstick that ends in Chaplin's famously impassioned final speech, a call for peace and human dignity. The Great Dictator is a bold and powerful film that not only criticizes or mocks Hitler and Mussolini, but also delivers a timeless message of peace and humanity. The film's final speech, in particular, remains as relevant today as it was in 1940, making it a significant and enduring work in Chaplin's filmography. Chaplin's personal life was marked by a series of ups and downs during the 1940s. In 1942, he and Paulette Goddard, his longtime partner, divorced, despite likely never having officially married. The following year, he faced a paternity suit from Joan Barry, a young actress, and in the same year, he married 18-year-old Una O'Neill, daughter of playwright Eugene O'Neill. The marriage to Una O'Neill, who was significantly younger than Chaplin, caused controversy, with the blame of cradle robbing. In 1944, the courts ruled against Chaplin in the paternity suit, naming him as the father of Barry's child, although he was cleared of more serious charges. Chaplin's personal life, marked by failed marriages and legal troubles, was a bold contrast to his public image as a beloved entertainer and creative genius. These events significantly impacted his career and personal well-being, leading to his eventual exile from the United States and his relocation to Switzerland. His life, both personal and professional, was characterized by a complex interplay of success, controversy, and personal struggles. His contributions to the world of entertainment and film remain significant, but his personal life was marked by a series of challenges and controversies. Charlie Chaplin's film Monsieur Verdoux, released in 1947, was a departure from his usual comedic style, as it was a dark comedy that received mixed reviews. The film was a commercial failure upon its release and received divided critical opinions. It was promoted as a comedy of murders, featured Chaplin as Henry Verdoux, a character based on the French murderer Henry Landru, who romances and then kills a series of rich widows and single women for their fortunes. Chaplin's screenplay was nominated for an Oscar. The film's release was overshadowed by Chaplin's personal and political troubles, including a paternity suit and his potential summons before the House Un-American Activities Committee to testify about his relations with communists, particularly exiled German composer Hans Eisler. Audience reaction to the film was also influenced by the political climate of the time, and it remains difficult to determine whether it would have been better received under different circumstances. Chaplin's personal and political challenges, including the paternity suit and the committee's investigation, significantly impacted the reception of Monsieur Verdoux. the film's release was marred by the negative publicity surrounding Chaplin, and the controversies of the time influenced its critical and commercial performance. Despite the initial reception, Monsieur Verdoux has been re-evaluated over the years and is considered a thought-provoking and daring work that reflects the complexities of its era. Charlie Chaplin's film Limelight, released in 1952, was a sorrowful drama that marked a departure from his usual comedic style. Chaplin played Calvaro, a music hall idol whose day has passed, and Claire Bloom co-starred as Terry, a ballet dancer whom Calvaro saves from a suicide attempt. He shelters, encourages, and finally helps elevate her to the top of her profession, even as his own star dims and then blinks out. The film was Chaplin's last American film, and it was barely distributed in the United States upon its initial release due to the controversies surrounding Chaplin's personal life and political connections. However, the film is now considered one of his essential and most personal works. The film won an Academy Award for Best Musical Score, to which Chaplin contributed. Chaplin's Limelight is a pathetic and thoughtful work that reflects on the themes of aging, loss, and the passage of time. The film's tone and Chaplin's performance as Calvaro make it a standout work in his filmography. The film's audience response was influenced by the controversies surrounding Chaplin's personal life and political network, but it has since been re-evaluated and is now considered a masterpiece of cinema. However, the film was well received in Europe and made more money than any other Chaplin film in terms of European grosses. Limelight was Chaplin's last American film, and he moved to Switzerland, where he and his wife, Una, lived for the rest of their lives. Charlie Chaplin's film A King in New York in 1957 was a mocking take on the political climate of 1950s America, inspired by his own experiences as a victim of McCarthyism. The film was a verbal attack against the weakness of 1950s America, targeting urban modernity, advertising, television, Hollywood, plastic surgery, and rock and roll. However, the film only occasionally managed to hit its target, and it was not released in the United States until 1973. The film's limited release and delayed reception in the United States were influenced by the political tensions of the time. Chaplin's subsequent work in his memoirs and the film A Countess from Hong Kong in 1967 was met with anticipation, but the latter proved to be a critical and commercial disappointment. The passing of a decade since A King in New York and the radical change in the political climate of the United States ensured that there was much anticipation surrounding A Countess from Hong Kong, a British-made romantic comedy starring Marlon Brando and Sophia Loren. However, it failed to meet expectations and was not well received by audiences. In 1972, Charlie Chaplin returned to the United States for the first time in 20 years to accept a special Academy Award for the incalculable effect he has had on making motion pictures the art form of this century. This marked a bittersweet homecoming for Chaplin, as he had come to deplore the United States, but he was visibly and deeply moved by the 12-minute standing applause he received at the Oscar ceremonies. The award was a significant recognition of his contributions to the film industry, and it was a pathetic moment in his later years. The standing applause was a powerful acknowledgement of his impact on the art of cinema and a testament to his enduring legacy. Chaplin's life was marked by a series of highs and lows, from his early struggles and poverty to his rise as a pioneering figure in the film industry. His return to the United States and the reception of the Special Academy Award were a fitting tribute to his remarkable career and the lasting influence of his work on the art of cinema. The standing ovation was a powerful acknowledgement of his impact on the art of cinema and a testament to his enduring legacy. In 1975, he was knighted, and several months after his death, his body was briefly kidnapped from a Swiss cemetery by a pair of bungling thieves, a macabre coda that Chaplin might have concocted for one of his own two-reelers.